What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Guys, here we go with another one of those videos. Yes, you know, race baiting is something that happens on our channel. And, I just want to talk about this with some of what the rappers are doing and what we are seeing with some of hip hop's greatest minds. And Lil Wayne is definitely that. Kanye West, we see that. But what are these guys doing? A lot of guys are dealing with mixed women, dealing with white women. And this is something that Lil Wayne does almost exclusively. If they're not like BBWs, they're very thick, okay? But Lil Wayne, I mean, for being a brother that's like him, and I mean, he did, deal with the black woman all the time and the delicious of the world, but he's dealing with nothing but white women the last like 5 to 10 years, from what I can see. And this one is a model who's a realtor and a tax accountant. Her name is Jennifer Spence, and I mean, she looked good. I mean, she got these Jesus sandals on in this picture right here, but I mean, hey, she's stacked. I don't know if that's real. It looks like it's a little store-bought, but she kind of got that like IG model kind of feel in BBL it up. And if you can see, this is them at a Grammys party, and you see him holding up to her and hugging her. She looks like a Kardashian type of chick, right? And but the question for me would be, why her? Okay, is this just because she's white? It very well could be, because there are black women like that look just like that naturally. I mean, I'm in Africa every day, so I can tell you it's just like she store-bought, right? But just naturally, right? And it could be that's his preference. It could also be because, and this is something that I've noticed, especially with guys when you start making a little bit more money. When you start making a little bit more money, you start getting exposed to different things, different ways of life, different people. Now, booties and top, that's great. A lot of these guys have experienced that. I'm gonna go on the limb and talk about something that most of us don't want to talk about, which is how a woman acts. All right, and this is what I'm gonna get back, because I had a homeboy I was discussing this with like 20 years ago. This one of the most brokest, dustiest dudes I ever met in my life, but he refused to date. He didn't date black women anymore. But he told me, he said his what he wanted to do, he wanted a black woman, a white woman or Asian woman that had a black girl body. This was like 20 years ago, right? And so this is what I started to see. These guys going after these thick white girls that had butts or booties like black women. And the reason why that this happened, because they wanted somebody who looked like a stereotypical black girl, but that acted something like a white girl, because I think that most black men found it too difficult. Like there was one black girl I knew, she grew up around like all whites, and she was super thick. And but she sounded like a white girl, those mannerisms, it was like really submissive and things like that. So a lot of black men like black women like that, whether you want to know it or not. But it was quite difficult to find those for a lot of brothers, right? From my own experience. So what you saw was when the Kardashians started getting hot, and some of these other ladies, if they had it natural or if it was store-bought, you would see these ladies that had the stereotypical African features, big top, especially, you see that in West Africa, East Africa, Southern Africa, right? And then as far as the big bottoms, right? And you started to see guys that wanted a black woman body and a non-black woman mentality. And this is what you see from Lil Wayne. Exclusively, this is what he's doing. And so what's happening is these white women, if they're not naturally like this, they're getting to work to look like the stereotypical black woman and acting, let's say, in their native culture, more or less. They can still be Americans, but acting a little bit more feminine. You see the same thing with Nas, right? And again, you will hear a lot of people saying like, this is just a preference. He don't like black women and all this other stuff. And it could be true. But what's gotten this young lady here outside of the looks is one thing. I think though, what you're going to be seeing is her attitude towards him. Okay? A woman's attitude is everything. So what you're going to be able to say, hey, look, I'll go get what women have been like this. With these rich black athletes, we're going to be acting like our submissive selves, and then we're going to be out here buying these body parts, and we're going to be having the same things that black women have or historically have had. Then we're going to look like that and then how brothers with the colorism and all this, we're going to basically come out here and do these things and compete. That formula, and it works. It works splendid, because a lot of the girls that you see with some of the guys like Lil Wayne, they're always very subtle. They're not like the IG models that have big followings. 10,000 followers is never 1 million followers. You know what I'm saying? These are people that kind of play their position in the back and stuff like that. And again, I want to always state this. Looks get you in, your attitude keeps you. And while you're seeing so many ladies really put big efforts on having their work done, looking good, that's also great. But if you don't know how to act towards a guy, it's not gonna work, man. It's competitive dealing with these guys that have something. And that's what's kind of hard to deal with. A lot of the ladies, like I said, in the black or African sector, they maybe they don't really understand that, and these guys are pretty much replacing them with women who want to be physically black women with white like features, Caucasian features, in a different position or attitude. It's kind of scary. And a lot of these black guys don't even care if it's real or not. Like, that's another thing too. They don't care. So this is why things are going to be getting so competitive for women in the black community going forward for these sorts of guys. And I'm not saying that you want Lil Wayne, but you're going to be dealing with a lot. Like right now, attitude is everything. I keep saying it. The attitude is, if you're a man, right? Like, I am the table. You need to do X, Y, and Z with me, X, Y, and Z with that. Come check for me. Those statements are just not gonna work. Not gonna work. Not with a guy that got something. It doesn't work, man. It just doesn't. And you may think it. I just don't believe it does. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.